Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee. This is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control on Rosemont Avenue, bringing you some adoptable pets from the shelter. Our first guest is Petey, and Petey came to us as a stray. So I'm sure he has another name, and he certainly wouldn't care if you changed the one we gave him. But as you all know, we name the dogs that come into the shelter as strays so that we have something to call them besides 2698, and Petey is the 2,698th animal that has been admitted to the shelter since July 1st. And we do receive about 5,000 animals, or between 5,000 and 6,000 animals every year, and more than half of those are cats. The remainder are dogs, and as you'll be seeing a little bit, rabbits, birds, guinea pigs, all kinds of animals that either end up stray in the county or that people bring to us because they are no longer able to or willing to care for them. So Petey came to the shelter and we held him for 5 days. We tried to find his owner. We weren't able to. It seems that no one is looking for him. We estimate him to be about 10 years old. And sometimes people will say, oh gosh, 10 years old, I'm not gonna get a 10-year-old dog. There are a couple of reasons that that's not necessarily based on logic. Number one is we have no way of knowing if he is 10. We are just making an estimate. The second thing is that dogs live an average of 12 to 16 years. Hi, Petey. So if Petey is 10 and he has 6 more years left to give to someone, you have to think about where your family is going to be in 6 years. Or if your kids are going to be off in college, if you are thinking of retiring and downsizing, or if you are thinking about moving to California in 5 years, then obviously getting a dog who is not going to need you to make a 10-year commitment is a smart idea, because one of the major reasons that people bring dogs to us is moving. And while we would like to believe that dogs can be made a member of the family such that when you move you would certainly take them with you, we know that some moves that people make aren't under their control. Moving to a retirement community that doesn't allow dogs, or moving to a place because you have fallen on financial hard times is something we hope doesn't happen to anybody. But it is a big reason that we get animals into the shelter. So I'm trying to think of all the reasons I can to let you know that getting a 10-year-old dog by itself isn't a bad idea. But the number one reason is because beagles make terrific pets for families, because they like people, because they are mellow, easygoing dogs, but when they are young, all they want to do is chase rabbits and squirrels. And Petey is beyond that. He would still love to chase a rabbit or a squirrel at his own speed, in a walking pace, and have somebody come along. So Petey is definitely, if you have pictured yourself sitting by the fire with your dog at your feet, then Petey is the dog for you. Our next guest is Reese, and Reese is probably some kind of hound boxer mix. We're not sure. She is only about a year old, and it's much easier to estimate, hi hon, it's much easier to estimate the age of younger dogs because as they age and the wear and tear on their teeth and their body condition is what we're estimating. As you know, some of us can be 50 and look 30. Some of us can be 60 and look 40, and the same is true of dogs. So Reese is hearing some noises outside the studio. Reese is only a year old, and we can be pretty sure about her age because being so young, there's not a lot of room for error. So that means that although she is her full size, she is not her full maturity, which means she's still a puppy. She still needs to learn things like how to stay home alone and how to walk on a leash and meet other dogs and people in public. And she needs to learn about different kinds of people, umbrellas, wheelchairs, people with hats, people with scarves and gloves. So those are all things that her family is going to take on if they adopt Reese. Now, one of the challenges of finding Reese a home is that she was in a family with a lot of kids, other dogs, and a cat. So she has lots of experience. But the family who brought her in said that while she was in their home, a child that was interacting with Reese inappropriately got snapped at by Reese, so they gave her up. Now, one of the things that's a challenge for us is that, of course, we've assessed her temperament. We find her to be a perfectly normal, friendly dog, but she gets scared. So we do want to make sure that she gets a chance to learn about how kids are, especially to be not hit or climbed on by children until such time as she trusts people and knows that that's normal behavior for small people. And one of the things that's hard about teaching her that is that now that we know that if she gets scared, she could snap at a child, we want to make sure she gets an experienced home that's going to help her through that process. And one of the reasons that people are concerned about getting her is that they see that as a bad mark, that she would snap at a child. Well, dogs don't miss by accident. So the fact that she controls herself such that nobody gets hurt, and see, she's a really good girl, means that her being scared, perfectly normal, is going to put off some people who expect dogs to allow children to hurt them, which most dogs do, surprisingly. But dogs that are more normal would not put up with things that are dangerous, frightening, or scary, as Reese has told us she won't. So we want to help her find a home where when she gets scared, they will help her with training and socializing. Oh my goodness, what happened? So that things like that do not happen to her without some protection, so that she can learn the world is a safe place to be. So if you have some experience with dogs, especially shy dogs, and the yawning is a sign that this is getting to be a little hard for her, so we're going to let Reese go back to what she knows very well and bring you another guest in just a moment. We are back with Bear, and Bear is a Shih Tzu, super cute little dog with lots of experience. He has lived with dogs, cats, a lot of children, and interestingly, very much like Reese, Bear came to us because we were told that one of the children in the family did not like the dog. And while that definitely bears some questions and investigation, what is important in his case is that it means that he lost his home and that he is here looking for someone to give him a second chance. One of the things about Bear that is similar to Petey, who you met earlier, is Bear is 10 years old. So that means that we are going to have to find somebody who is willing to understand that he is about like a 60-year-old person. So that means if he were a person that he is looking to move into a retirement community now, where someone can do the lawn for him and come by every day and bring him his meals. And I know all of you who are out there who are 60 are going, hey, wait a second, I do my own lawn, I cook my own food. Exactly. And Petey can still do all the things that he has always done with somebody who is interested in giving him a second chance. So I always like to emphasize when people come into the shelter and think that a 10-year-old dog is too old for adoption, that we need to look in the mirror, think about how old we are, and do we consider our lives to be over when we're 60? Of course not. And neither is Petey's. So Petey is looking for somebody who will take all of his experience as a plus. The fact that he already knows how to act in a house, he knows how to entertain company, he knows how to get along with others. So he will be able to meet his new family and embrace whatever you have to give him. As he has embraced the shelter, he has not missed a beat. Goes out on his walks very happily, eats his food, sits in people's laps he doesn't even know. He's a lovely, lovely dog. One of the things, in case you don't know about Shih Tzus, is that their hair is very, very long. Petey has been groomed to have his hair look like this, which if you adopt him, you may certainly do every 6 weeks or so you can maintain his puppy look. Or Petey doesn't mind being brushed at all. You can let his hair grow long and you can fix it up and have fun with that as well, which he would definitely enjoy. So if you are interested in Petey or a dog like Petey, please let us know, because we have, I mean, this is not Petey, this is Bear, sorry. So we have another Shih Tzu that's here for adoption, and we also have a Havanese, which is a closely related dog. So if you are interested in a long-haired toy dog, then please let us know. We have the wish list feature as well, so that if you know what breed of dog you want, you can get on the wish list. And Bear, I apologize so much for calling you the wrong name. He doesn't seem to care a bit. So if you are interested in any type of dog that you don't see here today, or that you don't believe would be in the shelter, you should also consider the wish list, because people would consider a Havanese a rare shelter dog, and we have one. People might consider a Shih Tzu a rare shelter dog, but that would be a mistake. We get plenty of them, as we do retrievers and boxers and shepherds and poodles. So just let us know what you're looking for, and we can help you out. Our next guest is Duke, and Duke is a pit bull puppy, 5 or 6 months old, and he came to us previously owned, and as you can see, he's a typical puppy. We will do, as we always do for taking applications on baby dogs, is that we're going to take 4 applications and choose the family that has the right experience and mix for this particular puppy. And the reason that we do that is we get 10% of our puppies returned. So we only get about 300 puppies a year. That means 30 of those puppies come back to us despite the extensive application process that we have. And we have heard complaints in the community about our application process, that people think waiting 2 days to get an animal might be too long, and they get frustrated because they can't just come in and walk out with the pet of their choice. And while we would love to be able to do that, because it would mean less time in the shelter for the animals, we need a couple things. First, we need time to get to know the animals before we let them go, so that we know what they need and we can help you choose. Second, we need to make sure that your landlord says it's okay, or you own your own home, because that's a high reason that animals get returned. But the last reason is that we need to sit down and talk to you about what this puppy needs. And as you can see, just from this few moments of viewing Duke, what Randy's willing to do is be one-on-one with the puppy, give him his full attention. He's being physical with him. He's asking a lot of this puppy, and Duke is able to handle it. So this is a resilient puppy, but he is also very energetic and physical. So we want to make sure that the people who adopt him are going to give him what he needs to grow up to be all that he can be. We recently had a puppy that people who watch the show frequently have seen, named Checkers, return to the shelter for chewing stuff up. And that is often a shock to us, because when you adopt Duke or Checkers, we sit down and talk with you for 20 minutes about how to supervise a puppy, how to teach him to love a crate temporarily, so that he can learn exactly what this puppy needs to learn, which is, you can see, he sees something sticking out of the wall. How exciting, I think I'll grab that. Unsafe for puppies, and also destructive for your belongings. But this is a temporary problem, because in 6 months, Duke is going to be an adolescent. He's going to be able to control himself much better. But for the next 6 months, he's pretty much going to need 8 hours a day of fun and lessons, just like kids going to school. He needs to learn how to be everything that he is capable of being, while mixing in enough exercise that he can think for a minute. So as you can see, exactly what Randy's doing is mixing in, don't touch this, with go ahead and touch this. He wants any puppy to know that people are fun, but there are things that you have to do with your body and mind to get the attention of people. And it's a process. So if you are interested in a puppy, please contact us, because like I said, we get 300 a year. If you are specifically interested in a big, robust dog like Duke, who can, as you see, bounce back and is already learning how to sit from just some short sessions of handling, then please let us know, because he's a great dog and he's got a great future ahead. We just need to find the right family for him. See that? He's already knows what Randy wants. So he's going to be a great puppy, and he has a lot to offer. We just need to find him the right person. And we are back with two guests. These are two male parakeets that came to the shelter. And as we were talking about earlier, it's not always dogs and cats that we get. These two little birds were brought to us by someone who does not want to take care of them anymore. And one of the things about birds that people rarely consider is that while they are beautiful and they can learn to talk, that means that they make noise. So one of the things that people get frustrated with birds is that while you're watching TV or cooking or whatnot, they're very chirpy. Maybe they will even whistle a little bit for us here, but it's possible that they won't. Because when birds are nervous, they go very quiet. And that's one of the things people don't realize. So in the store, the bird is very quiet, reluctant to interact because he's nervous. When you bring them home and you provide the proper environment for them, they're very chattery, territorial, they have a lot to say, they're very active. So what you're seeing right now is two beautiful little birds on a perch. How nice is that? The reality of how these birds will be when they're properly cared for and have a cage large enough to enjoy is that they're going to be singing and flapping their wings and spraying dust and little seeds around. And that makes people realize that taking care of birds is a little harder than they thought when they saw them in the store. So if you have experience with birds, we usually do our bird adoptions through Phoenix Landing Rescue. But these birds are available in the shelter now, so if you would like to come in and talk to us about adopting parakeets, then please do. They are lovely little pets. They are smart. You can check out on YouTube videos of parakeets doing all kinds of amazing things. The Guinness Book of World Records has a female parakeet as the bird that knew the most human words, English words specifically. And so if you are interested in an exciting, smart pet, then parakeets are for you. You might see the cage that we have them in and say, oh, that's pretty simple. I think I could make room for that. But ideally, these birds would get a cage about 3 to 4 times that big and be able to fly around. We have them in this cage just the same way that we have dogs in 6-foot runs and cats in 2-foot square cages, because we are housing a lot of animals and we are only doing so temporarily. So if you are interested in adopting some birds, please let us know. You never know what's going to be in the animal shelter. We will be back after a short break with some more adoptable pets from Frederick County Animal Control. See you then.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We are back with Titan. Titan is a red tabby cat with some white markings. He is only 1.5 years old, and he came to us with lots of experience. He likes to be carried around, says his former owners. He lived with kids and has lots of experience, but the reason that he ended up here is his family had some flooding in their house due to the recent Hurricane Sandy. And so they temporarily moved out with their pets. Well, they found out that the reconstruction, the work that needs to be done on the house, is going to take some considerable time, and they won't be able to move back in. So the place where they're staying, they're not allowed to stay long-term with pets. So Titan ended up here as a result of the hurricane, damage from flooding, which can happen anytime, doesn't have to be a specific storm. But sometimes it tugs on people's heartstrings to know that a recent disaster resulted in a pet or persons losing their home, and then they're willing to help out. And that is really what Titan needs, somebody willing to help out and give him a future, a place to live with a family. And he has experience, he likes people. One of the things that they told us is that in his home, when strangers come over, sometimes he hides from them, so he does run and hide. But in the shelter, when you take him out of the cage and put him in his carrier, pet him, he's definitely a lap cat, purrs, likes to be carried around. But I do want to caution anyone interested in adopting him that when people come over, he is likely to hide at first, which means that, oh, look at that, making biscuits, that he would need to have the understanding of someone who didn't need a cat to be social with. A lot of strangers come out at parties, and most people don't want that in a cat anyway. But it is something to tell you, because when you meet him in the shelter, you're going to meet him in his small enclosure, and he's going to be really affectionate, like to be held. And when you take him home, you're going to need to know that he's going to need time to get used to you. One of the things we recommend when you take home a new cat, any new cat, not just one like Titan, but especially in his case, is that you keep him in the bathroom for the first few days. And a lot of times people balk at that and say, I don't know, that seems mean. Where cats are concerned, control of space is paramount. And by putting him in the bathroom at first, you give him a chance to have a sub-territory within your home that is safe for him, and a place where he can learn that you are safe and friendly and that your house is a safe place to live. It would be similar to moving out to the West Coast and renting a temporary hotel room while you figure out where it is that you want to live. What are the nice neighborhoods? What are the places that have the amenities that you need? Close shopping, horse trails, whatever it might be. That's exactly what you're giving your cat in a new home when you offer them a small territory to get to know first. It also allows you a chance to go in the bathroom and interact with the cat, feed him, pet him, so that when you allow him into the larger space of your home, he'll come to you for comfort, come to you if you ask, and that you can approach him without him being afraid. So Titan is this beautiful cat here and is in need of a new home. So if you are interested in him or know someone who is, please let us know or pass his picture around so that he can find his perfect match. We are back with Freydle, and Freydle is a tortoiseshell and tabby mixed in her coloration. She is a female cat that is 9 or 10 years old, and since cats live 15 to 20 years, then she is barely middle-aged and has plenty of time left to give. The other thing about Freydle is that she has already been declawed, and while we discourage people from declawing cats, we feel like it'd be similar to removing the teeth from a puppy so that they don't chew up anything. Removing the toes from a cat so they don't claw anything is really a lack of training, which if you're interested in teaching a cat not to scratch, we can help you with that. They are smart animals, perfectly capable of learning whatever it is we need them to know. But if you do have concerns, she has already been declawed. So that would be something that some people might find attractive about an adult cat. She is lovely in personality, as you can see, very much a lap cat, and interested in people, even people she's never met before. So she would make someone a very lovely pet. And sometimes people are looking for a cat, but they don't want to go through the kitten stage, because obviously you have to teach them not to scratch. Because she's declawed, it wouldn't matter. But you have to teach them, you know, not to climb on your dining room table, not to bother the Christmas tree. And when you adopt a middle-aged adult cat, they often have all of that experience under their belt, and they can easily adjust to whatever it is that you want them to learn in the new house. Now, even though she's an outgoing lap cat who's confident, we still would recommend keeping her in the bathroom for a few days before you let her loose in the house, just to give her that sub-territory confidence before she has to face things like ceiling fans, other pets. But another reason that we recommend the bathroom is that cats are so attached to their territories that when you bring a new cat into your home, they may try to leave out the front door and go and find their old territory. So you do need to establish them in your home before you give them access to the whole house so that you don't lose them. We get scores of cats every month that end up with no one looking for them. They don't have collars on, they don't have microchips, so they don't end up getting returned to their homes. Now, Fradel, we know exactly where she came from. Her owners gave her up because of developing allergies, cat allergies. So they weren't able to keep her for the rest of her life. And now she has the rest of her life to give to someone who is worthy of that and can offer her a safe place to be for the rest of her time on Earth. If you think that Fradel would make a good match for you or someone that you know, please let us know or pass her picture around. Our next guest is Ella, and Ella is a New Zealand rabbit. She is all black. She was found in April running around in Frederick, and she had injured her eye, and it's completely fine now. That is her left eye. And so we know that she's pretty smart and tough. For a rabbit to live in the wild, it's possible that she was found right away because she does approach people. And hopefully that is the case, because for a rabbit to be loose in the city is really dangerous. You know, dogs could get her, cars could get her, but obviously she knows how to take care of herself. And because she's been here since April, she will definitely, we will be able to tell you a lot about her. She likes people. She is a strong personality. She is an agile rabbit. We've created this much larger cage for her because having been here this long, the small cages that we have for rabbits is just not sufficient to keep a rabbit for a long time, to keep her in shape. She has gained a little bit of weight since she's been here. So another reason for us preparing the larger cage for her is we want her to be able to get some more exercise and burn some calories. If you were able to hear off camera that little thumping noise, Ella didn't make that noise, but rabbits do. That stomping of the feet is a territorial noise that rabbits make when they don't want their space invaded. And Ella uncommonly does that. What she is more likely to do is when you hand her a treat and then reach in to move her bowl, she smacks you with her front feet. She is a little guardy over her food. So giving her more space also helps her with that issue, so she understands we're not trying to take her food. One of the things that has happened with Ella, obviously being here this long, is that we've all grown to know a lot about her, and then obviously we like her a lot. So she really does need a home. She needs a chance to get back to the life she once knew of being able to touch grass and be with people that she can call her own, and she is going to make someone a wonderful pet. So thank you for joining us on Pet Pals. I hope that we're going to see you again next time. But if you have seen any animals that you like or animals that you can help us find homes for, please do pass around the link at the bottom of your screen. As well, go to petfinder.com, put in our zip code, find our adoptable pets, and pass their pictures around to people you think might be a good match. That helps us out more than you could know.